Well, earlier today I said we're going to have a president in the House. I'm not lying. We do. We have a president in the House. He is President Hal Short. He's president of United Christian Broadcasters International, and he's on one of his whirlwind world tours, and he usually comes through the Medford area at least twice a year, sometimes 3 times a year, and this is his 3rd visit this year. And he comes here, goes to Canada, he's in meetings in Canada, he goes over to Europe, he goes to South Africa, he goes to Singapore. He just goes everywhere. You have to catch him on a plane.
I think you overplayed that a bit, Perry.
Nice to have you, Hal.
It's great to be here.
What an honor to have you in the studio, and you're a big part of what we do here at theDove, and you have been an incredible encourager to us. In fact, you helped us get the television station up and going with all of the assistance through UCBI. And we're truly grateful for that. But as I told you a few moments ago, I just wanted to give our listeners and viewers a quick update, because in 1978 you had nothing but a license to only broadcast, and it was an hour a day?
No, we actually go right back to about 1961 when the vision was first given.
Yeah.
And from 61 through to 1978, it's a long story, a very difficult one. But we actually got our first permanent radio license in 1978.
Wow.
We were allowed 6 hours a day, Monday to Friday, 18 hours on the weekend. They wouldn't give us more because everyone was a faith worker. We weren't on a wage or salary. We were supported as home missionaries. And they didn't believe we could run a 24-hour station.
Wow.
Well, that same radio station now is the 4th largest radio network in New Zealand.
Yeah, right.
And we just say, but no, that's God.
That's God. And out of that came the international vision.
Out of that, yes. What we found is that once we got running, there were people coming from overseas saying, we see what God is doing here. We want to have what you guys have got in our country, because we were the first in the British Commonwealth countries to have a Christian radio station owned by and operated by Christians. And so we recognised the structure we had within New Zealand wasn't satisfactory, so we set up United Christian Broadcasters International to become an umbrella company to link people together. And from there we began to work in Britain, Australia. These days we're in Indonesia, Philippines, South Africa. We work in partnership there, Madagascar, Nigeria, Botswana, places like that, and right through a number of European countries, from Estonia, France, and places like that, and there, as well as working with you guys, and also in Canada.
Wow.
And we also use the Word for Today down in Brazil. So yeah, it's spread around. It's a fellowship really of like-minded people with similar heart, vision, mission, core values. It's not a head office run thing.
Yeah.
Each area is autonomous.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's been interesting to watch that. I think what drew me to UCB, a lot of things, but one of the things is it really is a faith organization. We act and plan later. And I say that respectfully, but if we didn't take risks, nobody would be where we are today.
That's true. Well, that's true, actually.
Yeah,
it's sometimes you've just got to go out there. I think faith is spelled R-I-S-K.
Yeah.
And you find yourself sometimes doing things which you believe God is leading you to do, but logic says, no, don't go that way.
Yeah, right.
And we've more than time and time again, you find yourself thrown on the Lord and saying, Lord, if you don't help us in this situation, you got us into this. You've got to take us through it.
Yeah.
And I'm a firm believer that God doesn't start something to fail.
Yeah.
He starts something because he has a plan and a purpose and a reason for starting that, and we're just part of that.
How, from the very beginning in the 60s up through where you first got your first radio license, 1978, you have watched this industry go from tape machines, cart machines, to this whole thing called digital broadcasting. And here we are on iPads, yes. We're on these phones, we're on all of these smart devices. We just launched our podcast of this show last Friday, and we had hundreds of downloads over the weekend. And what was interesting, most of those were on iPads. So the technology has changed, which has opened up the world, hasn't it?
It's changed it completely. I mean, I look back, I find here I am, I won't say just where I am in my 60s, at probably the wrong end of it.
Yeah.
But when I was a youngster, we didn't even have television in New Zealand. And now I find I have my iPhone, my iPad, my notebook. I expect to have things with video as well as audio. And so I find that I've changed. So when you filter that down to the younger generations, you've got 20-year-olds and that, and teenagers and 30-somethings who don't actually watch television. They get all their video content on their notebooks or their iPads and the like. They watch their news there, and the future is going to be online. And I guess as an industry, we're really grappling with that. I mean, that is it's a huge challenge. How do you get seen or heard in this marketplace? And it is the marketplace. That's where it is the marketplace. It's where everybody's at, and you've got to say, how do you get seen and heard? How do you get your message across? And it is a challenge for everybody.
But on the other hand, what we're finding out, at least some of the research that we've seen, is that 61% of the Christians in the United States now, and this isn't an indictment on the church, it's just a fact, 61% of the Christians in the United States are getting their weekly enrichment from media because they can get who they want when they want it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it's going.
And we are becoming more and more a people that I want what I want when I want it, and I want it now.
yeah, right.
And so it is about on demand, and that content is the thing. But for us, providing content is one thing, but you've got to provide content as a trusted brand.
Right.
And I think being a trusted brand is huge, and that's one of the things we do hold dear, because I see excesses within our industry, and this day and age, there's so much information out there. You've got to make sure that the information that you provide is accurate, correct, and that we are faithful to the gospel.
Tomorrow and Wednesday, of course, you're leaving here in a few minutes to go to Canada for UCB meetings up there. What could you say to our audience about supporting this ministry? Because we are 90% of what we do here comes from listeners and viewers, and if they didn't partner with us, we wouldn't be adding stations along the coast. We wouldn't be adding cable systems to the television side. And it's not, to me, I want people to know my heart. It's not about bigness, believe me, because every time you increase something, it just creates more work. But it is about reaching people. It's about reaching the lost and bringing hope and healing to people who are hurting.
Oh, I mean, I really enjoyed coming to coming here, because I see a ministry which has integrity. It's faithful to the word, and I know that there's a huge need out there. This community is no different from communities in a lot of places where you have people who have needs, and this station brings a message of hope and encouragement and life in Christ. And you're right. I mean, you said 90% of the support comes from people who faithfully support the station, and I would encourage people to pray for the station, pray for the staff, and support it financially. In this day and age, there is so much uncertainty out there. People are looking for answers. They want something to hold on to, and stations like the Dove are a rock in an unstable time. And so, and I know you're coming up to a share-a-thon,
right?
And these are hard work. But I would seriously encourage people to pray and to give to the station, because it's doing a great work. It is doing a great work and meeting a need.
Thank you, Hal. Good to see you. Your visit this time way too short.
Way too short. And, I love this part of the world. And very
much northwestern weather. Welcome. There's a reason we have skin between our toes here. And good to see you. Blessings to you, and I'm sure we'll see you early next year.
Thanks, Perry.
Okay, we'll be right back.